Sometimes I read a comment from one of you guys that rings so true with me that I have to come on here and talk about it, because it's obvious that, they're not alone, I wasn't alone, and there must be other people who are feeling this exact way. Now, to paraphrase, this person commented and said that they were in their mid-30s and they felt, because of their gambling, because they've been gambling for a number of years, that they had nothing. They had nothing to show for their life thus far, and therefore, they didn't know whether they could continue or how they could actually reconcile this with themselves. And that's what I want to talk about today. Firstly, I hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping sane. Thank you for everyone who comments on the videos. It's great, not just because I like to read your comments, but also because it helps build a community where people can help each other out and actually maybe respond in a way that I can't, or give a different viewpoint to the ones I express in my videos. So thank you to everyone who likes, subscribes, comments. And if you're not already subscribed, if you think these videos are helpful, wait till the end and then just click on that button for me. Much appreciated. So many times, particularly when I was still gambling heavily and I'd maybe lost another paycheck, I would look around myself and feel like I was a loser, like I'd wasted my life, like I had nothing to show for the years I've lived up until that date. Maybe I was living in a small rented flat, maybe I had a old banger as a car, and just to clarify, I am in, financially at least, no better position now, or certainly not in a substantially better position. The house I live in is modest and rented. The car I have is not exceptionally valuable. It's kind of cool, but it's not exceptionally valuable. And if I was to use this materialistic approach as a measure of my life and the value and success of my life, then it would be quite easy to fall down a bit of a hole of anxiety. So why do we feel like a failure? It's because I believe the yardstick that in the 21st century we set for ourselves as a overwhelming measure of success is purely financial attainment. You can only see from social media, from Instagram, that the most successful people are those with the big house, with the Lamborghini, with the collection of Rolexes, and all these material trappings that we associate with someone who has lived a successful life. So let's start where we're at. Okay, so you may feel like you've achieved nothing, like you have nothing, but what you do have is opportunity. You are in a position where you have access to the internet, quite clearly. You are hopefully living in a place where there is opportunities for social mobility. So if you want to pursue this material success as your measure of a life well lived, then you have the opportunity to do so. But most importantly, what you have at the moment is yourself, your life, and your future. It doesn't matter whether you're watching this video at 21, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever. The biggest loss I ever experienced in my gambling time was a loss of time, and I've made a video all about that. The biggest win and the most progress you can make now, if you get into recovery, is you will rediscover that time lost. You will get back that extra time for the rest of your life, and that has got to be better than any material possessions. What you've also gained through, your life lived thus far is experience. And the reason I make a lot of these videos is because I have a lot of experience, a lot of it negative, but if I can instill that experience in people younger than myself, they have even more time, even more to gain, and even more opportunity ahead of them. The problem is if we rewind 30 years, success was measured in very different ways. But now, because the most obvious outward visible measure of success is material possessions, we can use that to perpetuate algorithms through social media, through the news, through Instagram, all the rest of it. So we are programmed to see success as mansions, Lamborghinis, etc. But if you want to redress this, if you want to reconcile this measure of success in your own mind, then dare I suggest you go and step outside your door for a moment. Have a look around. How many Ferraris and Lamborghinis do you see? How many people do you see walking around in head-to-toe Louis Vuitton or Gucci that's not fake? How many people are realistically going and commuting to their dream jobs where they're living their best lives and fulfilling all these roles that we're told we should be pursuing? We hear it all the time, find something you love and you never work a day in your life. Well, I can assure you that 99% of people have worked many, many days for most of their lives. And up until recently, this was accepted. Renting a house, having a roof over your head, was deemed a success in life. Having a car was a huge success in life. But now we consider ourselves a failure if the house we live in isn't owned and the car we have is anything less than a 2 or 3 year old BMW. And one thing to consider, and one thing that I've thought about to reconcile this in my own head, is that so much of the material wealth you see around you has come at a cost. It could be that that person has worked every day, risked everything. Maybe they've foregone experiences with friends and family in order to achieve that material success. Maybe it wasn't their material success and it's come at the cost of the loss of a close relative or maybe even a partner. So we can only look at our own lives, and by committing to day-to-day self-improvement, we will gain the most valuable of assets, and that isn't the Lamborghini, that is time. Someone far, far wiser than myself once said, not only is comparison the thief of joy, which is incredibly true, but we do comparison wrong. We compare ourselves to those that push their material wealth, much of which is artificial or inflated, in our faces on social media. We should not compare ourselves to what someone else is today. We should compare ourselves to the version of ourselves we had yesterday. If we are progressing, if we are improving, if we are building better habits, then we are succeeding. If you gambled today, or if you gambled yesterday, then don't gamble tomorrow, and you will instantly be a better version of yourself. Progress, not perfection. Stop comparing yourself to others. Compare yourself to who you were before, and you can make every day a success. You can feel like you've achieved something every day. And if material wealth and possessions is what drives you and motivates you, then those things will come in time. But just decide if that really is the most important thing to you. When you start getting your time back, when you start mentally balancing out your dopamine levels, then you'll find so much more pleasure and so much more enjoyment in much simpler things. I can now enjoy just going for a long walk, just going outside in nature and watching the birds and, just being outside, enjoying the fresh air. I can get pleasure from just eating regular food that I've cooked myself, or a simple conversation with a friend. It all sounds rather boring and wanky, right? But when you get that mental headspace, when you lose that anxiety, when you iron out the massive highs and dopamine crashes from gambling, you'll find that your measure of success dips quite substantially because you are far more happy in what you have and the life you live and the things and the people that you do have in your life, in your sphere, that suddenly what you are maybe aspiring to seems substantially less important and possibly not even worth the sacrifice of that valuable time that you've regained in order to achieve. If you've wasted your life, yes, you're not going to get that back, but you might find that just living a carefree life with less anxiety, less stress, maybe better health, more time and closer relationships is enough, and you don't want to waste that on all these things we're told we should be doing in hustle culture. Maybe you're not cut out to start a business. Maybe you don't really want a Lamborghini. It's a stupid car anyway. And at 6'2" and 16 stone, I really struggle to get in and out of one. But just be happy for what you've got. And again, that sounds so tired and cliched, count your blessings, right? But it's true. Figure out what you do have. And if you can buy yourself more time to live with yourself and live with yourself with greater mental clarity, then you'll suddenly find that these material things and, owning a house and all these things that we see as absolutely essential suddenly become less so. Yeah, I don't own my house, but my front door lock broke the other day and the landlord came around and fixed it. Lovely. Be happy for that. Be happy for the fact you've got food in your fridge. Be happy for the fact you can go another day without that crushing depression of a gambling loss. Be happy that you can go outside, get fresh air, get exercise, get the endorphins and the blood pumping that way. Just be grateful for what you have and that your life hasn't been a waste, because if nothing else, it's been a very long drawn out, very expensive lesson as to how not to live the rest of your days and how to get the most out of however many years you have left on this planet. I know I rambled, I didn't script this video, but I do hope that helps. It's certainly I believe a much more healthy way of thinking, because the constant pursuit of financial success is either going to lead you to, crushing comparison, abject failure, or a feeling of abject failure, or it's going to lead you down the even darker path of the potential attainment, or the strive for instant material success. And whichever form that takes, that's going to be gambling, isn't it? Stay safe, stay sane, everyone. All the best. Speak to you soon.